Everybody always talks about red flags when meeting somebody, so I'm gonna talk about the green flags today. I promised some of y'all in my last lives that we would talk about green flags, so here we go. Knowing that perfection, being perfect, doesn't exist, that's a green flag. It's a green flag. I think the best green flag is self-awareness, and of course, like there's so much to self-awareness that is like, how could someone be possibly like self-aware of everything? It's probably not normal. You know what I'm trying to say? No one is perfect, but the moment that you see how someone takes responsibility for themselves, that is a green flag. They don't shift blame. Like when you let them know something happens, they don't tell you that you're hurting their feelings because you told them that something happened. And besides, it's a huge green flag if someone knows that you didn't make them feel some type of way, because we are responsible for our own emotions. It doesn't matter how something happened. It doesn't matter what someone did to you, how they treated you, how they handled the situation. We are responsible for ourselves. That is a green flag. I personally love this one. It's the comparison. If someone is not competing with you, or you notice that they don't compete with others, that is a green flag, because the world is abundant. There's enough for all of us here. The benches, like we all could take seats. You know what I'm trying to say? There's enough for all of us to go around. So if they're not competing with someone, if they're not moving and motivated based on the actions of someone else or you, because that whole frenemy thing is a real thing, that's a green flag. Their stories always match their promises, which always match how their body moves. Green flag. How people treat others is could be a green flag, because one day they might treat you like that. So if you see like really good treatment and the way they handle things, that could be a good flag. But if you don't, trust and believe, whether or not you see it, because they have a level of respect for you, that is how they treat you. My next green flag is when you're able to talk with this person and have a full-on conversation with them, and y'all are not talking about other people. If y'all are not talking about other people in your conversations, deep convos, short convos, that is a green flag. Whether that person is just gonna be your friend, acquaintance, it's gonna be platonic, or y'all are dating each other. I mean, hey, we're not perfect. Like, it happens. People are going to add to like your anger. People are gonna contribute to unhappiness sometimes. You're gonna talk about people, but if it's not the bulk of y'all conversations, green flag. This is a big one in our society. They communicate. It's not a guessing game with them. If something contributed to hurting their feelings, or something didn't sit right with them, they're gonna voice it to you in a respectful and kind manner, because they would like you to be accountable. They would like you to understand them better. They don't want you to guess and play mind games and be like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go to a mind reader to find out what happened here. For me, a big one is, and some of y'all might be able to bypass this, but how much do they incorporate health into their daily? Because when you love yourself, you love health, because you want yourself to be healthy. So being able to see how someone loves themselves can either be a green flag or not. Because especially if you want to have like a love situation or connection with this person, the person is only ever going to give you a smidgen less than they can give themselves. Seriously, like a smidgen less than they can give themselves. People can't give you more love than they give themselves. So like just acknowledging their level of self-love is a green flag. I mean, it could be, because you gotta catch. You really gotta catch. This is also a huge green flag. They don't judge you or criticize you for your mistakes, your flaws, or being different. Any which way that you are different or anyone else is different, they're not harshly criticizing and kind of like judging that. Instead, they want to know about it. They're curious. Like, they want to understand it. They want to be there for the person. You know what I'm saying? It kind of is like having a little bit of empathy and compassion. Those are green flags, big green flags. Seldomly you're gonna catch people who do that, like very seldomly, because we've been trained to judge people. We've been trained to pick at people. Like, especially if you went to the school in the American school system, if you weren't mediocre, you weren't celebrated. If you were a high achiever, you were joked about. If you were a low achiever, not a low achiever, but if you just didn't care, they joked about you. You know what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm saying. If they can't allow you to make mistakes, if they can't even allow themselves to make mistakes, it's like this whole perfectionist flaunt, you know, it's just not a green flag. Except at the same time, we can still accept people like that, because if you can accept someone like that, someone will accept you. So that's a green flag. That is a green flag. A green flag is when they share the floor with you and they listen to your experiences while also taking time to speak when it is their turn. They don't always turn what you say into something about them, related to them. And this is a big one. That's a green flag. When you tell them about your emotions, they allow you to. They don't get upset with you because you're talking emotion. That is a green flag. If someone can say, oh wow, I hurt your feelings, or I contributed to your feelings being hurt, they want to know. They're curious. They want to know what happened. They want to know why you think that way. And they want to support you. That is a green flag. Someone who is comfortable in their authentic self is a green flag. They're not making up stories. They're not trying to be like anybody else. They're not trying to match you. They're not, you know what I'm trying to say? They are comfortable in their authenticity. They're comfortable with their flaws. Being able to say like, yeah, I made that mistake. Being able to say like, oh, I'm not the best at that. That's a weakness of mine. I don't know how to do that. That is a green flag. Okay, last three are going to be a little shorter because I definitely had a whole bunch mentioned for this. Being able to have unproductive days and knowing that it is also productive. Like being able to take breaks, being able to have downtime and not mentally criticizing yourself or anyone else for having downtime. That is a green flag. Having goals, knowing what you want to do, being able to talk a certain extent about the goals, but then also say, I'm not comfortable sharing any more about this. That is a green flag in a person. And when I say goals, the goals are not only financial and like physical achievements or like body achievements, like body goals. They're also interpersonal goals. Like if someone could tell you where they are and what they're working on, where they would like to be, where they're headed to, that is a major green flag. That's like even more major than any of the ones that I have mentioned, because this person has a level of self-awareness that is possibly unmatched. The last one I'm gonna say is when you tell them you're not comfortable with something, when you set a boundary, they don't try to push. They don't have any reactions that are like overreacting or responses that are kind of like hectic. They're more curious. They want to understand why that is your boundary, and they respect your boundary, period. Also, they're able to voice theirs without getting disrespect. Green flag.